Hey, what's good? This video came across my feed and I thought it would be fun to watch with you guys. This is the political spectrum is a myth and it's on the market exit channel. I have no idea which way these guys lean, this way or that. I don't know. But I do know that I'm going to be working on this animation. Before we get into it, remember to go to coconutjustice.com to get some clothes that I think would look good on you. Let's go. The market exit channel, and this what? It looks like someone is getting healed. You are healed. Let's see what the market channel has to say. This is gonna, oh boy, here we go.
So lately, I've been getting a lot of comments on my YouTube essays, which makes me really happy. And most of these comments
This is a channel that, this is probably why it popped up. We watched a video from them where they were talking about billionaires should be illegal. You should check that out.
Funny and smart, but there is one type of comment I get quite often that does bother me and that we need to talk about.
Puppet of radical left, useless commie.
Let me just call this guy out for what he is, a bloody communist.
This is such a disgustingly Marxist-Leninist clip.
These nutty left-wing guys. Even the haircut looks like a lefty kind of haircut.
Now, before we get into it, now that we see this, let's be clear. I am an American first. I am a veteran that is influenced by Christianity. And that is why I think we pay enough money for this nation to be at a completely different level. We're just spending money incorrectly. If it's an intelligent comment, I will try to have a conversation with you. And I ask in my messages all the time, or in my videos all the time, if there's something that you guys think makes this point make more sense in your way of thinking, I'm here for it. I'm here to learn. But you're not going to stop conversations by saying dumb shit like this. This doesn't get us anywhere. This is Marxist, disgustingly, like, I don't even know what he's talking about, but there's a lot of people that for example, I've had conversations lately with San Francisco and pooping in the streets and stuff like that. Homeless people poop in the streets wherever you are. Now, for me, the problem is homeless people. Why do we have homeless people? And just to be absolutely crystal clear, now that I say homeless people, and there's some people out there that are going to be upset because I said homeless and not house challenged or house, whatever it is that you guys read. I don't let words get in the way of finding solutions. Whatever it is that you want to say, trust me, I'm on your team. I am after the solutions. I don't let words get in the way of me getting to making things better for everyone. Okay? Let's be clear. There's been a couple people that leave messages like this on some of my videos that are just conversation non-starters and conversation killers. Either we're going to talk like adults or we're not, and you will be treated accordingly. Yeah, I'm an American, and I want to see America thrive. I want to see, this is my main point, I want to educate Americans so we don't have to sit here and listen to people that aren't from here call us dumb and lazy and all those things. Okay? That's where I am. No one should be talking about Americans like this. We walk around the planet beating our chest, talking about how wonderful we are. And then we're just a bunch of dummies that we let people that aren't from here tell us that we're dumb and lazy. And you guys are okay with that.
Why do these comments bother me? Well, it's not because they call me things that I'm not. I don't care about that. No, they bother me because they illustrate a deeper problem in today's society, which is that there's a tendency to view absolutely everything through the lens of a left-right spectrum. So in this essay, I will show you where the left-right spectrum comes from.
And that's just it. It's a spectrum. I think that we should have social workers and people to help the less fortunate or the people that don't know how to maneuver in life. We should have people looking over them. We should have programs that help build people up. But at the same time, I like guns. You know what I'm saying? I don't, when you talk to me about politics and you talk to me about life in general, don't talk to me about left or right. Talk to me about you. Talk to me what you've been going through. And if there's any way I can help you, I am here for you.
And I will explain why left-right thinking is stupid. In 1789, France was on the brink of bankruptcy. So to address the crisis, the French king Louis XVI summoned a meeting with the three estates of French society, the clergy, the nobility, and the commoners. But this meeting didn't turn out quite as the king had hoped, because at the meeting, the third estate, the commoners, made a bold
That looks like Republican town halls.
an unprecedented move. They declared that they, and not the nobility or clergy, truly represented the French people. Following this declaration, which was the starting point of the French Revolution, the people who supported the revolution started sitting down on the left side of the assembly hall, and those who opposed this revolution started sitting down on the right side of the assembly hall. And this seating arrangement is the origin of the
You know what? There are so many things that we just recite and so many things that we talk about that that we just take things for granted, right? Left and right. I never knew why it was left and right. I always thought for some reason I thought it was biblical, because in the Bible it talks about the people of God are going to be on the right, and then all you Satan worshiping sinners are gonna be on the left. Come to find out, it's a mixture, because you have a lot of people on the right that do believe in Jesus, but believe that you should struggle. And there's people on the left that think you should need help, but then that you should be able to worship however the hell you want, whoever the hell you want.
right political spectrum. Today, over 200 years later, the idea of a left-right spectrum is so ingrained in political thought that if you go to the library and pick up almost any introductory textbook in political science, it will start by explaining this left-right spectrum. On this spectrum, conservatives are to the right and socialists to the left, and sometimes other labels or more steps are added, like radical, progressive, liberal, moderate, or reactionary. This left-right spectrum is interesting because there is a correlation between respective sides of this spectrum and certain policy positions. People who identify with either side of the spectrum, they
Isn't it funny how we have all this really cool equipment to have things be crystal clear, super HD and everything, and then the first thing we do is put little filters and all kinds of stuff on top of it to make the video look degraded? People are funny.
hold a particular basket of political opinions. For example, tax cuts are today considered to be a right-wing position. This means that if person A supports lower taxes, then he's also more likely than not to
Why is
support
it a white
other
dude up there?
positions that currently are clustered on the right wing, such as support for Israel's military actions and opposition to immigration. And conversely, if person B supports higher taxes, then he's likely to be on the opposing sides of all of these other issues. In other words, he will oppose Israel's military actions and he will be favorable towards immigration. And here comes the key question of this essay. Why is that? Why do many people's beliefs across separate issues like taxes, foreign policy, and immigration cluster this way as either left or right?
Let me guess. Because when you're on the left, if you're in the left wing, then chances are you're going to be watching all of the content left wing people make, and they're going to explain things to you that make sense to your brain. The right, the same thing with them. They consume all the content that is that's generated by the right wing, and it makes you feel smart, and it makes you feel included. And then that way, you just keep, marching to the tune of whichever side you want. Meanwhile, while you guys are marching to those tunes, I'm in the middle skipping happy as shit.
Is that someone who's for lower taxes also is more likely than not to also oppose immigration, even though these two are completely different topics. Well, the most common explanation for this that you will find in textbooks and newspapers and hear from pundits is that the left-right spectrum actually captures an important essence of human nature. This has been called the essentialist theory of politics and is completely wrong.
Burp, burp.
I was born on 3rd of February, and according to astrology, this birth date makes me a so-called Aquarius, which is a person who is intellectual, creative, and independent. In astrology, there is a simple way to completely understand someone's personality. All you need to do is to place that person on a spectrum of personality that is based on one single essential parameter, date of birth. Donald Trump, for example, was born in mid-June and is a Gemini. Therefore, we know that he has an outgoing, versatile, and curious personality. Needless to say, astrology is nonsense. The essentialist theory of politics is very similar to astrology.
There's a whole bunch of people that read astrology every morning that just turned off the TV.
In that this theory says that there is a simple way to completely understand someone's political views. All you need to do is to place that person on a left-right spectrum that is based on one single essential parameter, how much you want change. If you want change, you're on the left. If you don't want change, you're on the right. Your position on this line, in turn, supposedly explains all of your other political beliefs. So the reason why someone who wants lower taxes also supports Israel's military actions and opposes migration is because that person is anti-change. This is a convenient theory because it allows us to boil all...
Yeah, because if you have... So this is my theory on that. If you don't have shit, you want things to change because you don't have anything. But if you have everything, you don't want anything to change. Don't rock the boat. Everything is perfect right now. Meanwhile, there's a bunch of us over here being like, yo, price of eggs, price of gas. I don't want to be gone for 18 hours a day. I have kids to raise. You know what I'm saying? Like...
Political issues down to one essential question. The only problem, though, is that this theory is false. It's nothing more than astrology for politics. If the essentialist theory would be correct, then all of the issues that are bundled together on one side of the spectrum would stay there across time and across contexts, because they're all supposedly to be pro or against change, but they don't. Historical evidence shows that issues constantly shift between the left and the right. As
We're seeing
taxes,
that.
The famous...
And it's amplified by social media, right? Because we have all these leaders. When he first ran for president, he was against gay marriage. And then he changed. And so did the Clintons, and so did everybody else. The right, they're still on their bullshit. Either we're going to have freedom or we're not. And it seems to me like you guys are going down the path of not. And to be fair, the left, they're going wild. Their version of freedom is quite free. Not free financially, but free as in you do what you want, how you want, when you want. But at the same time, the people on the right are like that too. Literally everyone in Florida is like that. You know? People want to be free. They just want to be free in their own way. So whatever makes you feel comfortable, that's what freedom should look like. Be damned to everything that you think. You should do it my way because I feel free. And it's not going to work like that for everybody all the time.
Right-wing politicians Boris Johnson and George H.W. Bush both adopted tax increases, while the left-wing Barack Obama and Tony Blair both implemented significant tax cuts. And as for support for Israel, the man who's considered the archetypical right-wing extremist, Adolf Hitler, would clearly not support Israel. Meanwhile, it was the Democrat Harry S. Truman who was instrumental in establishing Israel in 1948. As for immigration, the conservative icon Ronald Reagan wanted to grant amnesty to millions of undocumented immigrants, and meanwhile even the socialist icon Bernie Sanders has voiced opposition to unhindered immigration. In other words, there is no fixed essence behind the left and the right. Also, it doesn't matter if you say that the true essence is not change, but instead, for example, big versus small government, or equality versus hierarchy, or collectivism versus freedom. Any proposed essence falls apart under scrutiny. Research has also shown in experiments that people's
You
views
can't
on
pull to
issues
the
do
edges.
not
The edges
cluster
are
to the
horseshit.
current left-right spectrum until after.
Unless you're talking brownies and cakes and stuff like that. The edges are where it's at. Besides that, I don't need edges. I don't need fringe. I need everyone in the middle paying attention to the problems and then resolving them.
Into the left-right way of thinking. But then the question remains, right? If there isn't a single essence that binds together all the positions that are held on either sides of the spectrum, like whether or not they're pro or against change, then why do many people bundle their positions to what is currently considered
because it's
left
easier.
wing
It's
or right
easier
wing?
that way. You don't have to fight with your friends.
This is Strawberry Arena, home of my football team, AIK. In Stockholm, there are three major teams. AIK in the northwest, Hammarby from the south, and Djurgården from the east.
Here we go. Insert Swedish governmental points of view. Here you go. They have a lot of socialist programs. I'm not saying that in a judgy way either. It seems to me that people here seem to be happier. At least that's how it registers in some of the quizzes or whatever that they have people take. Generally a little happier. They have a lot of things taken care of. They don't have to worry about a lot of stuff, you know. But they're not nearly as big as America is.
I grew up north of Stockholm, so naturally AIK became my team. And like most sports fans, I support this team year after year, even though all the players, all the coaches, essentially everything about the team is constantly changing. There is no fixed essence that binds me to the team. It's just my chosen tribe.
Yeah, I always thought that too. You're not cheering on, you are cheering on the players at that particular game, you know, but for the most part, you're just cheering on a front office and their ability to play chess. And I'm guilty. I'm from Chicago. We love our sports. I'm a Cubs fan. Love them. Thick and thin. Ass whipping after ass whipping after ass whipping. I have to go to therapy. Figure that one out. But whether it be the Cubs, the Bears, the Blackhawks, even the White Sox, if you make me pick them, I'll pick them. The Breeze, all of them. I love them all. And I love the players that come and be a part of those teams. But at the end of the day, you're cheering on the front office. You know, you should have your jersey say, you know, whatever the owner's name is, because that's who you're cheering for. And
Most of us
if you have a trash owner, your team is going to be horseshit. Look at the Dallas Mavericks.
is that it's this type of tribalism that forms our sports loyalties. But what many fail to realize is that it's also this type of tribalism that forms most of our political opinions. In their book, The Myth of Left and Right, Hiram Lewis and Vernon Lewis argue that we form our political positions just like we form our sports loyalties. People first anchor into an ideological tribe because of family, peers, or a single issue that they feel strongly about, and only then adopt the full range of beliefs associated with that tribe. They call this the social theory of politics, and in their book, they point to overwhelming evidence that this theory better explains political attitudes than the essentialist theory that we have just discussed. Religious Americans are today strongly anchored to the American right-wing tribe, but research shows that it wasn't until the 1970s, when abortion became a political issue, that the religious groups anchored with the right-wing tribe. Not until then that they adopted the other opinions of the American right-wing, like lower taxes and climate change skepticism.
He's not pregnant anymore.
Another fun study showed that when self-identified conservatives were told that Donald Trump supported a policy like increased minimum wage,
Now that we see his makeup real nice and close, have you ever seen him without his makeup on? You should see when he went golfing with Bryson DeChambeau. You should go look at that video. He doesn't have any makeup on that day, and he looks sick. He looks exactly 80-something, and he don't look good. So he looks funny with this orange stuff, this bronzer, whatever it is. I don't need the shit, so I don't know what it's called, but... Isn't it funny? This mug is running around putting brown face on. Anyway, if you look at that, he looks old as shit. And he looks, he looks exactly 80-something.
then they would also strongly support it. But if they were told that Donald Trump opposed that very same policy, then they would also strongly oppose it. As the famous scholar Dan Cahan has put it, people endorse whichever position reinforces their connection to others with whom they share important commitments.
Yeah.
So the weight of the evidence points to that there is no philosophical essence, like pro or against change, that binds together the different views on the left and on the right. Instead, what binds opinions together is mostly social conformity and tribalism.
Tribalism. So where does this leave us? In our
There are
tribes.
many issues in politics: taxes, immigration, foreign policy, defense, the environment, trade policy, healthcare, elder care, education, criminal justice, gun rights, labor rights, infrastructure, privacy, antitrust. The list goes on. However, left-right thinking makes us believe that all of these issues can be condensed into a one-dimensional spectrum conceived during the French Revolution. That is absurd. Some researchers are experimenting with adding more dimensions to the spectrum. One example is the Gal-Tan model that takes a traditional left-right spectrum and adds another dimension with Gal, green alternative and liberal at one end, and Tan, traditional authoritarian and nationalist at the other. But I believe quasi-scientific models like these are problematic because they reinforce the illusion of coherence in political clustering, which validates tribalism and discourages independent thoughts. We humans will always have tribal tendencies, but we haven't always been this tribal about politics, and we don't have to be. Just as sports teams want us to be loyal fans who buy tickets and merch, politicians want us to be loyal voters. And if we're loyal to the political spectrum, then we'll also be loyal to the media that is positioned on this spectrum, and the algorithms will amplify this dynamic. All of these forces put enormous pressure on us to become more tribal and to lean into either the left tribe or the right tribe. But we can, and we need to, resist this tribal pressure. Inspired by the book The Myth of Left and Right, here are 3 things we can do to resist this pressure. 1, let's go granular. Don't call things left or right, say instead what you actually mean. If someone is a wealth tax advocate, call him that. Don't call him a communist. And if someone wants to stop immigration, say that.
Yeah, because I mean, they talk about this on TV and on the internet all over the place. You're taking away the true meaning of the word the more you use it, and they do this on purpose. They meaning the people that are in control. They continue to work this word. Like woke was not whatever it is today. Woke is wake up. You're being played as a sucker. It means wake up because you're wasting your entire life working on someone else's dream. Wake up because they're mistreating you and it can be better. Wake up. You should be making more money. If you're working 40 hours a week, you shouldn't have to have 2 and 3 other jobs. Wake up. Wake up. That's what people mean when they say woke. And then they bastardized it into whatever silliness it is. And you guys keep falling for dumb stuff. But that's why we're here. We're here to learn. We're here to talk this stuff out. Because it doesn't help anything if all you do is bitch and complain, you know? There's some videos out here that's all they do. They go and they get you all amped up, and then you have all this energy that you don't know what to do with. Come and hang out so we can watch some videos and like we'll have fun, we'll talk shit, la da da. Leave me some comments, you know, but like walking around thinking dumb shit that people continue to tell you. Like I've been told so many stupid things about people that look like me. And I'm the one that has to go and like fix this shit. No, not all of us. Not all of us do those things. But some of you guys don't want to hear that shit. And you don't want to hear it because you like it. You like all of this trauma. You like all of this, everything going on all the time. You know, like that's not good for you. This is not good for you. So come hang out here. And yeah, I'll go off on my tangents and stuff like that, but at least we're having a conversation, and I'm trying to actually use conversation to teach you guys about some of this stuff, because people are walking around talking about left and right, and you don't fully understand what that means. People are talking about communists. You don't fully understand what communism means. You don't understand that limiting immigration so our system can actually catch up to itself. And then, since we have all these computer people that aren't getting any jobs because they're going to contractors that work for a third the price, we should leverage all those people. Turn those people into teachers and turn those people into a proper Doge administration or Doge cabinet, whatever, that goes through and actually optimizes stuff and actually focuses on improving all of the hardware that we need to not be clunky. I don't understand why there's no website or something, a way to communicate so we can actually see where all the money is going. So then that way, if we see that someone is chasing down a platypus and doing goofy things with the platypus, we know what money is going. And if nobody wants to spend money on that platypus, then we don't. Unless there's a scientific reason to be chasing after some platypus, we don't need to be spending money that way. We need to be spending money on education. Because we have a bunch of dummies running these streets. We have a bunch of dummies. And I'm not saying that like right wing, left wing. I'm saying that because that's what Elon and that's what that other Vivek said about you guys. You guys are dumb and you guys are lazy. That's what your people said.
A right-wing extremist. 2, let's disagree. So I sometimes get comments like this.
I saw around 5 to 6 videos of yours and were amazed by the quality in every aspect. I was just about becoming a Patreon supporter. Then I watched this video about migration and you've lost me just there.
Left-right thinking spreads the myth that you have to either agree or disagree with people about.
And that's just it, like, when you guys leave me messages like that, I literally laugh. Why so extreme? And I don't have a Patreon, so I'm not asking you guys for money right now. I'm trying to make films and stuff like that. So, you know, I'm busy making films. I'll catch back up to it, yeah. But I want you guys to come here and feel comfortable in explaining things. Like I have people, now that I've been creating this kind of content way more regularly, I have a lot more people that I talk to on a regular basis, whether they're family members or friends or whatever. We're starting to have this conversation and we're starting to figure things out. Because again, no one's coming to do this for us. Everyone, literally everyone that's in the government, you know, like the Republicans are in for themselves and the Democrats, they're just sitting there. I think that they know. I think that the Democrats know exactly what the Republicans are doing, and they're playing coy. You know, oh no, don't do it. No, no. Oh, I've never done that. Let's go.
Everything, which is of course neither true nor possible. Instead, We have to welcome disagreement, especially with people we respect, because research shows that allowing for disagreement makes all of us smarter and more efficient. 3.
And it makes the
perhaps
conversation
most
way more fun. It makes the conversation way more fun. I would rather have a conversation that doesn't necessarily align with my views, if only to see if I can learn something. I am that much of a fan of learning that I would put myself in harm's way to just test my theories and to test my thoughts on things. Why are you shutting yourself off? Why would you ever do that? You're wasting all of the potential that you have on shutting down and not asking questions and not being talkative and not having proper adult conversations. Like you can't go into a conversation all hard-headed and pushy and dumb. Like a lot of you guys are out here. You're maneuvering in like caveman type of shit. And we've already progressed past that. We got to be talking like scientists. We are flipping rockets through space and catching them like this. I want Elon to get back to doing that. Not whatever horseshit he's doing now. That and go hang out with his kids. He's got 1,300 of them.
let's consume less news. Because by playing into our tribal tendencies,
No, you just have the conversation. And then when you guys see that someone is getting amped up, then just back off. Change the subject real quick. And then, dance around. But like fighting and not talking and breaking up with family members and breaking up with friends and stuff like that, that's the easy way out. How are we going to learn? How are we going to move forward? This is just a hurdle in the road. That's all it is. We're starting to realize that so many people think so many different ways. And just like medicine and just like everything else, everyone is absolutely completely different. And shutting them down and not ever talking to them again, that's a tough situation. I don't wish that on anyone. And just to let you know, that's not helping. Doing that stuff is not helping. We have to talk. Because the more we don't talk, the more people like politicians can come in here and play games with your mind and your heart and your money.
the media and the digital platforms have made us believe that we are doing a good thing for society if we're constantly living inside our feeds and in the news. But in fact, the opposite is true. To quote the author Oliver Berkman, in an age of attention scarcity, the greatest act of good citizenship may be learning to withdraw your attention from everything except the battles you've chosen to fight.
All right, so that was the Market Exit channel. Yeah, just like everything else, it's a spectrum. It's a spectrum. How much does this stuff mean to you, and is it worth breaking up with people over? And is it worth closing your mind to? Or is it worth opening your mind way too much? It's a slippery slope. But everyone seems to be co-signing to the edges, and it's just not like that. Everything is a spectrum. Everything is a spectrum. The same way we have super white kids and super black kids and everything in between. Same way we have people that need help learning, and we have people that are writing books and flipping rockets in space. It's a spectrum. Everything is a spectrum. And we need to make sure that everyone who is possibly lacking in a certain area, the people that are good at that thing need to step up. And then vice versa. You might not be over here. You might not be that good at something, and these people here have to step up. But that's what it's called, to be a good countryman. That's what it is. That's why all the United States of America, that's how it's supposed to work. California is killing it. So we're going to help people like Kentucky and Louisiana because they need help. That's how it's supposed to work. And then moving to granular level, it's you and me. Like, you might not be able to understand a lot of the things that are happening in politics. And I'm not going to claim that I know everything either. But what I will claim is that you can come here and we can take a look at different videos and figure it out together. That's it. Just that simple. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, share it with each and every one of your friends. And if you want to come hang out with me and watch videos while I work on creative projects, hit that subscribe button and then change the little bell icon so it says all. That way, every time I come out with something new, you'll be alerted. Don't forget to go to coconutjustice.com to get you some dope gear. And with that, I'm out.
Coconut Justice.